It's Friday, 27th June. Hello and welcome to this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place, streaming live across the world via social media and YouTube. We are GHOne television. Let's take a look at our headlines. 3 suspected armed robbers arrested in connection with a brutal attack on gold buyer and farmer in the central region. We've got details in a moment. Also, minority argues government failed to appropriately respond to suspended Chief Justice's concerns about her petition hearings.
Under the guise of the secrecy of the process, the Chief Justice is having to go through this.
And in business, minority demands clarity from Bank of Ghana governor on reported reversal of mass dismissal.
No, cannot just sit at the comfort of his office and be dismissing Ghanaians just like that. He must come.
And on the international front, South Africa's police intelligence chief arrested over fraud allegations. We've got details of these and many more here on News Tonight. Please stay with us. I'm grateful for your time. The details now. 3 suspected armed robbers have been arrested in connection with a brutal attack on a gold buyer and a farmer at Asin in Tokrum in the Asin North District of the Central Region. Now, the early morning raid left one of the victims with severe injuries. However, swift police intelligence led to the arrest of the suspect days after the attack. We've got details on the following report.
On a gold buyer and a farmer at Asin in Tokrum, the Central North Regional Police Command picked up the suspects Godwin Kwabna Mensah, 28, Kojo Frimpong, 20, and Kwabna Entry, 30, believed to be members of the 5-man gang that staged a midnight raid on the home of Kwabna Amos, a gold dealer, and his brother Richard Kuma, a farmer. Armed with a triple-barrel pump action gun and machetes, the gang stormed the residence around 1 a.m., firing multiple shots. Amos sustained serious facial injuries and a machete wound, and his right eye was badly affected after being struck with a gun barrel. His brother escaped unharmed, a survival the family attributes to divine protection. The arrests were made following swift intelligence-led operations. The police retrieved
ya fro now dia ya kukudro na se for the nyomo de kosie ne na say wan so no why there and I me all the officers and men so war ye region so abaso na me so mo den say mo koso anya dwuma pa.
The Central North Regional Police Commander, DCOP Abraham Akwe, said the suspects had earlier visited the area pretending to seek jobs, a move believed to have been part of a reconnaissance mission. He called on all
robbery, illegal mining, prostitution, human trafficking, and drug peddling.
DCOP Akwe warned that the police will leave no stone unturned in restoring security in the region. A breakthrough in the fight against armed robbery in the central region as the police in Asin Fosu have arrested.
Let's head to Parliament now, and the minority is asking President John Mahama and the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, to respond publicly to allegations made by suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Earlier this week, the suspended Chief Justice raised concerns about what she believes are procedural breaches and human rights violations in the ongoing committee hearings on petitions seeking her removal. She also alleges a conspiracy to remove her from office. In response, government spokesperson Felix Kwatiofosu dismissed her remarks, describing her public address as most regrettable. However, MP for Manhyia South, Nana J. Bafwe, at a press conference in Parliament, criticized the President and Attorney General for remaining silent 48 hours after the suspended Chief Justice's statement. He's demanding they address her claims without delay.
Clearly, it is an unfortunate situation that the very head of our justice administration is having to go through this. I do not care about the guilt or innocence of her. What is important is that she should have at her disposal everything necessary to defend herself. She has to have it. And in the absence of it, I think that the whole process has been undermined. In the absence of it, the process lacks integrity. That for me is key. And I think that
earmarked for the purchase of a cyber security defense system. In an application filed on June 23, Abu-Baidoo and the 3 other accused persons, through their lawyers, said they wanted those documents disclosed. They said the documents in the following governments must be given to them, and that's under President Wallen's tenure 1992 to 2001, President Kufuor 2001 to 2009, President Tamil's 2009 to 2012, President Mahama 2012 to 2013, President Mahama 2013 to 2017, accused, and Advantage Solutions Limited Company have been sent of Ghanaian students in the U.S. exceed their visa duration. This has resulted in the country being considered for a ban. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, addressing the media, appealed to Ghanaian students in the United States to comply with their visa terms.
The U.S. authorities have now formally brought to our attention, so it is no longer a leaked report. They inform us that 10 days ago they were informed by the White House on the plans to take an expanded view of the President Trump bans. The challenge we face really relates to overstays, particularly with students, the students who we have been sending abroad, also students who on their own apply to study in the United States of America. They have formally communicated to us that 21% is the default rate. I would also want to use this opportunity to advise visa applicants to stay within the terms of their visas. Please respect the U.S. immigration laws, respect the immigration laws of all countries, just as we expect that when nationals of other countries are issued Ghanaian visas, they will comply with the terms.
Well, Star News has been speaking to some students here in Accra, and they've been talking about their willingness to return to the country if they're offered an opportunity to study in the U.S.
I will never. Because the system here is very poor. It's very poor because as of now, where I am now, I'm supposed to be working at the same time going to school, but since the system is not really that good, I'm not working and I'm schooling. How will I be able to pay some petty things on campus, right? That is why if I get an opportunity now to fly outside, why not?
Yeah, I agree with.
Oh yeah, I agree with him. I agree with him a lot. Why? Because you see, US has made our system comfortable in such a way that even as a student, you have a part-time work you are doing that could support you any means. Right? But Ghana here, you can't even get a part-time job here. If you're a student, they won't take you in any job. You're supposed to either work or in school, so you have to choose one. And then if you don't have a parent, you're going to struggle. You understand me? Someone like me like this, I don't have any parents. So it's either I do my one or two things before I can get some small money to pay my school fees. And even our students loan guys not even coming like the way it's supposed to come to. But do you think in US they have some assistant like this? Nah. So you can't tell me if I fly outside, I should return. No.
Oh, as at now, I'm feeling very bad because it was my dream that when I get there, I will not come back. Yeah. That was my dream. Yeah. So now I'm just hoping that he will change his mind.
I'll come back. That's not my country. This is my country. And I don't like staying in somebody's country. I went there for a reason. Once I'm done, I'll come back to where I belong. All I have to tell them is that they had to come back. This is their country. This is their motherland. And make sure this place is well for them. If they don't make it well, Donald Trump will not leave his country to come and make this place a better place for them. It is them that have acquired the knowledge there that will come here and come and make this place a better place for someone to come and who do not want to go back. So I'll urge each and every one of them to come back. After all, over there you will not see Sunday special Umutu. So over here you get your Sunday special Umutu and Sunday special Wache. So they should come back. Thank you.
Me as for me, if I go down, come back.
Let's stay on U.S. visa-related issues. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, again, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has confirmed that 188 Ghanaians have been listed for deportation by the U.S. This is as a part of renewed immigration crackdown under President Donald Trump's administration.
In terms of deportation, we have been cooperating with U.S. authorities. We have so far been formally notified of 188 Ghanaians on President Trump's deportation list. Our embassies in New York and Washington have been complying with our counterparts in the United States. And so far, travel certificates are promptly issued once we see the evidence and it's clear that you really are in violation of U.S. law, and they have every right, just as we also have every right to deal with those who are violating our laws, who are in breach of our laws. And you do know that Ghana also every now and then carries out deportations, even prosecute and imprison foreigners who violate our laws. So we know that every country reserves the right to carry out these sanctions in compliance with their laws.
Now, an international relations expert, Dr. Ishmael Hlovo, is urging the government to implement stricter measures to thoroughly vet students seeking to study in the United States. He spoke earlier on Newsroom with my colleague Emmanuel Ejabing.
It's a trend that has been gaining grounds in Ghana, where people actually do not intend to return, but then because normal visa processes are quite complicated in terms of the financial demand, then student visa become the easy way out. But let me also say that when you look at the report the US is using for these visa restrictions, there is somehow application of a report that seems to support the general idea of Trump trying to limit immigration to the U.S. because the calculation is based on even those that they cannot confirm that they have exited the U.S. So it's not like they have the percentage is categorical that everybody they have overstayed the visa. Some may have exited, but there's no record of their exit.
Let's explore this issue further. Immigration consultant Rodney Nkrumah Boateng joins me via Zoom for more on this. Grateful for your time, Mr. Boateng. Easier said than done, isn't it? Talking about scrutinizing or vetting thoroughly the documents of students. I'm just wondering how it's going to play out. I mean, from your perspective, does this look feasible at all?
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers as well. I'm struggling with what, for instance, Ghana is able to do in terms of preventing this overstaying issue, because obviously Ghana does not control the visas that lead, for people who are making applications, and once they get there, Ghana has no control over them. My view is that even if there are stricter controls and people get in, the reality from my perspective is that whether in the UK, US, there tends to be the possibility for students to switch over to work permit situations. And the report doesn't say, in terms of people breaching their conditions, whether they end up overstaying and becoming illegal, or they do switch into other categories, such as marrying US nationals or foreign nationals in the general sense, or for instance, being recruited into various companies. And US immigration rules permit students who come to the end of their studies to switch categories. And so I see this as being something that probably the US in this particular instance has a better control and a better grip, because they are then able to bring in regulations saying, after your student visa, we're not going to renew your visas or allow you to extend or allow you to switch into any other categories. And I doubt that people who have completed advanced degrees in the US will probably want to stay there and do what some may call ordinary or menial jobs. And so in terms of how this can be controlled, I see it as more within the ambit of the US authorities than what we are able to do beyond the foreign minister advising. And you heard the students, what they said. Clearly, they're not impressed by the foreign minister's advice, and they made their intentions clear, with the exception of the lady who was really interested in Sunday Special. But probably she's saying for the cameras, I don't know. But looking at the reality, the economic reality, the graduate unemployment situation, and all those things, and the structural weaknesses in our economy, in all honesty, it is probably more difficult to expect students who have completed their studies not to switch over to take advantage of the economic situations in those countries, rather to return home.
So would you then say that in Ghana's case in particular, the U.S. government is probably punishing the Ghanaian government and the Ghanaian citizens for its own inability to crack the whip?
I'm not sure I'll put it in those terms. I mean, I'll give you an example. In the UK, for instance, there was a time when you could, at the end of your studies, be given a 2-year graduate visa to look for work and build some experience and go back. It got to a point the UK government simply withdrew that and said, once you're done with your studies, you have to go back. And the number of those who sought to stay simply dropped. Eventually, they reinstated it. So I'm simply saying that this is far more within the control of the US authorities than expecting Ghana to be able to do anything about it. I mean, probably what Ghana could do via government is that in terms of government scholarships to the US, government could scrutinize those the applicants. And beyond that, if I'm going there to the US on my own private sponsorship, what does government have to do with it? So government's hands are tied to being restricted to only those who probably are seeking government scholarship, and they can put in some conditions. And even if you say if they don't come back, they have to pay, they might probably convert it to US dollars. It might be peanuts for them. And within a period of employment, they probably will be able to pay it off anyway. And so I think we are at a strong disadvantage in terms of being in control of the means by which we can get our students who go abroad to study to come back. I mean, there could be a longer-term conversation about making Ghana attractive for them to come back. But that is immediate conversation, certainly not in the short term.
So what would you say to somebody who may have gotten admission to study in a school in the U.S., somebody probably working out to travel to the U.S.? What does this ban mean for such people in realistic terms? Is it an outright ban? Are there any exemptions? Just help us understand.
Well, the U.S. government, as we said, the foreign minister has not given us detail in terms of what the U.S. plans to do, whether a total outright ban for anybody applying to go to the U.S. as a student, or whether it will be a far more restrictive process in terms of the consideration of those applications. But if I were to, and I know someone who's actually going to apply next week, but if I were to advise anybody, of course, I would say, look, if you're going to go to any person's country at the end of your studies, you have to come back home. But I'm sure he will laugh in my face.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time, Rodney Nkrumah-Boateng. We'll continue this conversation some other time. But that's an immigration expert sharing his thoughts with us on the foreign minister's advice to Ghanaian students not to overstay their visas when they arrive in the USA for school. You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. We've got more stories right after this. Thank you for staying on News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. Now, Child Rights International has raised concerns about the efficiency of the country's social welfare department after its failure to rehabilitate a young boy who was brutally abused at Ankasa in the Western region over 200 cities. The abuse, which was captured in a viral video, occurred on June 18 and sparked nationwide outrage. Speaking early on Newsroom, Executive Director of the Child Rights International, Bright Appiah, reiterated the need for the young boy to undergo psychological assessment in a structured rehabilitation process.
Our social welfare system, and that is what for me is where the danger is, because you cannot rule out the fact that some miscreants would always abuse the law, would always take advantage of children. But when you have a very strong social protection system and those who are managing it are very effective, then one, you send a signal to people that children, you cannot just abuse people anyhow. Secondly, when they go through that abuse, there's a system that will rescue them. So we are gradually eroding that kind of concept. And that for me, it is what is giving us the idea that our social welfare system is going down. But for me, as a country, we cannot just thwart our economic achievement without looking at our social protection system. It's not possible unless you are coming from a different planet. We want to be more effective in terms of we are achieving certain indicators. We should also spend resources to be able to build our social protection system effectively so that people do not just take advantage of the system. And when you have a lot of people in our social protection safety net, the cost of rehabilitating a particular child, it is so expensive that you must always make use of building a very strong social protection system so that when it comes, we are able to deal with it. So we cannot just allow our social protection system to go down.
Away from that, Vice President of the Republic, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called on female members of Parliament to take the lead in championing leadership initiatives for young girls in their communities. Speaking during a meeting with the Majority and Minority Women caucuses of Parliament, she praised the female legislators for defying societal barriers and overcoming significant challenges to attain leadership roles in politics. She further encouraged them to use their positions to mentor and inspire the next generation of female leaders.
I don't know what it takes first to put yourself out, to sustain the momentum and to get there. So you've done very well. We are very proud of you. We also know whether it was easy, it was difficult, but you are here. And for me, the important point is, so now that we are here, what are we doing with the opportunity? It cannot just be for us. As the good book says, not unto us. So it cannot be unto us as individuals. It can be unto us as how we use that opportunity to bring others up. And in our demographic, talking about others, we can focus on the young ladies. There are enough in our constituencies that we can build up. But at the same time, we're also looking at the young children, boys and girls. We are mothers to everyone. And therefore, we need to be mindful of that. But at the same time, we also know, as I said, that there are not that many of us. And for reasons that are not lost on us. This is not the place for a long lecture, but we can do that and explain why we don't see as many of us as, as are capable, I think, as, of leading our communities and of making the right contributions.
Now, market women operating at the Jubilee Park in Takoradi in the Western region have declared their refusal to relocate unless government fulfills its promise to complete the Takoradi Market Circle project. They insist they will neither move to the makeshift market nor risk their lives by relocating under a transformer at the Power Grant Park.
In the early morning of June 26, 2025, police and military personnel stormed the Jubilee Park market to prevent trading activities. The market women, expressing shock, claimed there was no prior notice or official communication. They described the move as unacceptable and disrespectful. They want President John Mahama to intervene, stating categorically that they will not vacate the area. Some even threatened to relocate their families to the homes of the regional minister and the Takoradi mayor if they are forced out of the space.
But you market one channel. And you
The assemblyman for the Western Okrum electoral area, Emmanuel Kweku Tobis, has also condemned the eviction attempt. He criticized the authorities for failing to consult stakeholders before taking action. He pledged his full support for the market women.
Maybe as assembly member in name, although to the president, to the regional minister to the MC to the assemblyman for the electoral area. Now you want the engagement. Because Mr. Afun Oguano said Wanyamwa, Wawanyifu, Ayanfu, Wamra, Mr. Afun, you don't want to cry. There is judge. Now, one call, they would never go. I will support them as assemblyman.
In response to the concerns raised, the Metropolitan. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, June 25, 2025, traders at the Takoradi makeshift new market picketed the office of the Western Regional Minister, demanding the relocation of traders at the Jubilee Park to the makeshift site. They argue that the ongoing activity.
Let's head to the Ashanti region now. The Conference of Heads of Basic Schools in the Asokwa municipality is concerned about inadequate public schools and a lack of resources affecting efficient delivery of education. There's more in the following report.
The annual Conference of Heads of Basic Schools in the Asokwa municipality was held under the theme, Transforming Basic Education in Ghana, Opportunities and Challenges. Among other issues, the school heads expressed worry with unfenced schools, inadequate infrastructure, and overstretched teaching staff of some 500 teachers handling in excess of 10,000 students. Vice Chairperson of the conference, Sarah Champong, laments that the constraints are hampering the smooth administration of schools in the municipality.
We have 511 teachers and our pupils' enrollment is over 10,000. So, we have a lot of work to do. Most of our schools not walled. So, intruders normally come in to disturb.
Director of Education, Reverend Ebenezer Otemafo, disclosed that his outfit has submitted proposals and drawings to the Asokwa Municipal Assembly, awaiting support to address the challenges.
And one of the things I do most is to organize my team, and then we work with the engineers, planning, and then physical planning department and others, and then we go to the field, look at areas where we have challenges. Concerning the large class size, it's common in most of the metros and the municipals or the city centers where some of the schools are oversubscribed. What we do is to also appeal to the assemblies, and then we increase structures in some of those places so that
must come from themselves and not from the children, so that nobody will say because you are parents.
This report read to you.
Still on education, the Chancellor of Regional Maritime University, Fande Toure, has called on stakeholders in the maritime industry to maintain strong partnerships, set high standards and harness synergies for collective growth. He said with such strong collaboration, the industry would be able to build human capacity for the sector. He made this call at the official inauguration of the Bernard Schultz Ship Management Maritime Training Center at the university in Accra.
The BSM Maritime Training Center is a state-of-the-art facility which is designed to enhance the skills and competencies of maritime personnel across the region and beyond. It features a reception area, apartments, administrative block, conference room, cafeteria, classrooms, workshops, a mooring station as well as hospitality section comprising a mess room and galley. The Chancellor of RMU, Alhaji Fande Toure, who delivered the keynote address.
You want to walk fast, go alone. But if you want to walk far, go together. Let us harness the strength in synergies and go for the future we want. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I wish to...
commitment to recruiting qualified trainers.
A safe working environment, fair conditions. We want to support them with their career development. So this is the hard part. We have to make sure that we live up to the trust that has been placed in us by the RMU and the Ghanaian government and the governing bodies.
The acting Vice-Chancellor of RMU, Dr. Jethro R. Brooks Jr., highlighted the importance of collaboration between academia and industry, not only to produce skilled manpower, but also to ensure their effective deployment.
This massive increase of students have brought a major challenge. Therefore, I plead with DS management to kindly construct a hostel that will accommodate a minimum of not less than 500 students, including upgraders. This we see as a win-win situation. Because when the students go to sea for the first 8, 9 to 12 months and they return, they come here regularly. But if they have a place where they can stay and show, BSM will also be interested in that.
Following the ceremony, dignitaries led by Captain Joshua Ado, a lecturer and BSM country director, toured the new facility and expressed admiration for the high-quality resources and infrastructure, noting its potential to significantly enhance maritime training
area in Ghana to refrain from drug abuse and violence. According to the command, the law will be applied strictly without Latter-day Saints in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service East Municipal Assembly.
The Interfaith Youth Summit brought together over 300 youth from diverse religious backgrounds across the East municipality. Various topics were discussed, including health, education, media, and security, with resource persons offering insights and encouraging the youth to strive for uprightness in order to become responsible and transformational leaders in the future. Assistant Superintendent of Police, Reverend Precious Agbono, emphasized the need to abstain from drugs.
For them, at the end of the day, they end up losing that thing. So this program, as we have come, is very important for us, that when they go to school, they should not yield to peer pressure. They should not go and involve themselves, indulge themselves in drug use, stealing, and all those kind of things that they do, which are in contraventions of the law.
The National Director of Communications for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Dr. Ose Ajimabunsu, called on parents not to neglect their parental roles in pursuit of economic fortunes for the family.
No matter what I gain, if one of my children go forward, I've failed, woefully failed. And I think every parent should also know that. If your child goes wayward, so no matter what you are doing, at least, even if during the weekdays, you may be busy and you come, let the kids know that they have a father, they have a mother at the weekend.
The first counselor of the Medina stake of the church, Emmanuel Anson, expressed satisfaction with the overwhelming response, stating that the summit would contribute to economic and spiritual growth of the country.
We are so grateful that despite the weather conditions that started earlier, we've been able to have the numbers that we are having now, and as well as the speakers. who are gracing this occasion, speaking on various topics that are from personal hygiene all the way to education and media. We've talked about choices and accountability, and soon we'll be talking about other matters that talks about honesty and integrity.
The rotational annual event, themed Strengthening the Rising Generation, aims to promote youth development and empowerment.
Up next is business news. In business tonight, Minority Chief Whip Frank Anodompre is calling on the Governor of the Bank of Ghana to respond to questions regarding the alleged dismissal of some staff at the central bank. Although there are unconfirmed reports suggesting a reversal of the dismissal, the Member of Parliament for Nsawam-Adoadri insists the Governor must come clean and officially brief Parliament on the matter.
A number of over 100 of their staff. This is a public matter of interest. At the Committee of the Whole, it will not be out of place for the BOG boss to be here and tell us what the situation is. This is about the people of this country, and it's a matter that should not be treated lightly. We've heard that the decision has been rescinded. We want to hear officially from the BOG boss at the Committee of the Whole. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana cannot just sit at the comfort of his office and be dismissing Ghanaians just like that. He must come. So these are and the Finance Minister, he forgot to speak to him.
Let's stay with the central bank because it's cautioned public banks, dedicated electronic money issuers, and enhanced payment service providers against dealing with 10 money transfer firms operating in the remittance and foreign exchange market without regulatory approval. The unlicensed companies are Ace Money Transfer, Remit Union, Remit Home, Rose Remit, Monty Global, Nairagram, iTransfer, HuruPay, Eversend, and EasySend. In a statement, the central bank warned that institutions found transacting with these firms risk severe sanctions, including a withdrawal of their licenses. The BOG cited Section 3.1 of the Foreign Exchange Act 2006 Act 723, which prohibits unlicensed foreign exchange operations, and Section 15.3, which mandates that all international money transfers be made through licensed entities. Now, the founding director of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, Professor Eric Yenchi Dankwa, has revealed the center successfully trained top talent on the continent and released over 279 improved varieties of seeds. According to him, this achievement has helped prevent brain drain as students trained by the center would have otherwise left the continent. He said this during a day of scientific renaissance of Africa organized by the center at the University of Ghana. There's more in the following report.
Established 18 years ago, WACI, based at the University of Ghana, Legon, focuses on crop improvement, crop breeding and genetics, plant biotechnology, crop management and agronomy, food security and sustainable agriculture in Africa. Through intensive research, the center has developed improved seeds that offer increased yields, weather resistance, and other benefits. Professor Eric Yenchi Dankwa, the founding director, has highlighted the center's achievements.
We have built capacity in Africa for Africa, and a number of them have released varieties in their home institutions. For example, I showed that our students have released over 279 varieties in 10 countries in Africa. That is significant. In addition to that, you see, if you don't have the quality of scientists all over the world, you cannot work with them to attract funding.
Professor Dankwa used the occasion to urge both governmental and non-governmental organizations to partner with the center and provide additional funding to support research and training.
So what we have done over 18 years is to train scientists who can stand their own anywhere in the world, developing improved crop varieties for farmers in real time. Our World Bank project came to an end a few months ago. We are winding up at the end of June. We are looking at a new phase of funding which will allow our scientists to access significant funds for research that can efficiently and effectively develop new crops for farmers all over Africa. Of course,
some students trained by the...
That'll be all for business news. We'll take a quick breather. We'll be back with more stories. Thank you so much for staying here on News Tonight. It's now time for sports with Benjamin Yamwa. Hello.
Hello.
Are you following the World Cup, the Club World Cup?
Absolutely.
You know what Real Madrid is doing, right?
Please. I mean, if you want to talk about Club World Cup, you're talking about Manchester City. 3 out of 3.
Well, you know, sometimes the road to victory is not a straight path. So,
I know, but
so
I mean,
let's see how Real Madrid
we would see, but
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I hope they get themselves out very soon. I've got news, though, on Gal Cup because the President's Cup is coming up in just a few days. Now, I've got news on that, plus some other stories all coming up in sports after this. So GHOne Chairman GHOne has made an appeal to fans ahead of the upcoming President's Cup clash between Kotoko and Accra. So for speaking ahead of the game, which takes place on Sunday, 6th July at the Accra Sports Stadium, GHOne emphasized the need for supporters to be disciplined on the day. He reminded fans that security will be very, very tight, and hence they must be strict and disciplined on the day.
Come in and you have a car pass A. It's meant for one car, and two, if you have a complimentary and the passengers in the car are 4, everybody should have a complimentary. If you don't have it and you get to the second checkpoint, before you get to the third one, you will not be allowed to go. Yeah, you will not be allowed to go. Irrespective of kids or what. What I would advise is that if you know you are coming with your children, the top takes only 500. The whole top, both lower and upper, it takes 500. And we are making sure that we don't want people to come and be occupying seats that they don't have their cars to use. So you might have your way from making sure that your car has passed because of the car pass A. But when you get to the final checkpoint, you will never have the opportunity to go. But it's going to be an enjoyable evening because
Let's do some Division 2 football news now, where patron of Blue Skies Pelican FC, Ian Nash, has commended the club's resilience and steady performance over the past 9 years in Ghana's Division 2 league. Despite the warring challenges, he believes the team has shown great potential. Speaking in an interview with EIB Sports and my colleague Monica Bukari, Ian Nash emphasized the importance of taking the next step in the club's journey.
Team year in, year out has fared pretty good. I think when I got involved, I wanted to increase their training equipment. I wanted to increase the way they do things, to bring in better players. Unfortunately, not last season, the season before, we won the league by 10 clear points, and we got into the promotion playoffs. But as I've said before, it didn't really go our way for certain reasons. So we're back rebuilding again. I want to push to the highest levels. I want us to progress. I just don't want to be a middle of table football club. I want us to really sort of push forward. And that's still my dream, and that's what we're still trying to do.
And that's it for sports. Back to you, Bernice, for the rest of the bulletin.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. We look forward to Gal Cup, but we've got international news coming up shortly. South Africa's Criminal Intelligence Chief Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo has been arrested and has appeared in court on allegations of fraud and corruption. General Khumalo was picked up on Thursday evening after landing at the main international airport in Johannesburg by members of Anti-Corruption Unit. According to local media report, he made his court appearance in the capital, Pretoria, on Friday, alongside 6 co-accused, all senior police officers. Their lawyers said they intended to plead not guilty to any charges laid against them. And that'll be it for this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. I'm grateful for your time this morning.